Robots Radio presents
Fresh Tomatoes, the movie podcast.
Hey, I can look at myself naked.
Are you stoned or something?
They tried stoning me, my dear. It did not work.
He likes to create his own sauce.
Well, did you sleep with a man who also slept with Mom and Grandma Catherine?
What? You slept with Dad?
All right. Which one of you sardines called this meat?
Whatever, Major Loser.
Let the party begin!
Hello, and welcome to Fresh Tomatoes, the movie podcast. The virus that you don't want, but that infects you anyway, and it's kind of fun for a little bit. That's Chad Ekowitz.
And that's Simone LaRue. I am really enjoying your intros that have like this really movie-specific theme. It's really enjoyable.
No planning.
That makes it even better because it's just off the cuff. Your improv skills have really increased over the years.
You know, I think so. Yes, and.
Yeah. The basis of all improv, as they'll teach you. Apparently, the only good improv school to go to is UCB. That's what everyone tells me. From
UC
my
Berkeley?
various podcasts. I have no idea. I don't know. I just hear it all the time from listening to podcasts. They're always like, oh yeah, I did a year at improv at UCB. Oh, I did a year too. That's where I learned the best year improv at UCB. So I don't know. It's just the three letters that I hear the most often associated with improv.
In my head, because you and I went to UCT, University of Cape Town, it just sounds like an off-brand University of Cape Town. Like University of Cape
Brand. University of Cape Town.
It's like a Chinese university.
Yeah, it's a Chinese knockoff of
Cape
it.
Town.
Cape Town. Oh, Simone. So, talking of cheap knockoffs, how and what are we doing this week?
We're doing one of my favorite genres of horror movie this week, which is zombie movies. But zombie movies, where they didn't try that hard. They were like, hey, they're undead. Let's make a thing out of it. So we're doing Zombie Diaries from 2005, 2006, depending on which source you look at. Thankfully, you and I did convene, and we both did the same one.
But for our listeners, our level of convening was literally 5 minutes before we started the podcast. It wasn't sort of the Sunday afterwards where we had decided the movies and it was like, all right, so it's this one from 2006. It was literally moments before recording. So
like, hey, you saw the same plot I did, right?
Yeah. Okay, cool. We can record an episode today.
Well, otherwise I was going to be like, okay, we'll both talk about the ones we watched.
Look, it would have been a really interesting alternative and we would have taught each other a lot. But it is also incredibly on brand of us to just fly by the seat of our pants. We never plan anything. Guys, we know it's like cute to say we don't plan anything and it's like endearing because it's like, oh, look at these millennials just doing their thing. No, we do not plan anything. It is amazing that we have gone on this podcast for like a year and a half.
We're recording half an hour later today because I was like, oh, I'm actually out day drinking and I need a snack before we record. Like, that's where we are as a podcast.
Oh, that's so good. Who were you day drinking with?
It was like one of those things, like we met up with some friends and then we're like, oh, we should also just go here. And then after that, we were like, well, we're close to this other place, so we should just go there. And then it was lovely.
Oh, that's really nice. Is it still like a sunny day out? Was it?
Yeah, it was beautiful weather. It was like 26 degrees. It was crisp. It was great.
Oh, that's so lovely. Oh, what an exciting day. And then you get to continue to drink now, which is always so very exciting.
Keep that train going.
Choo choo.
Choo-choo.
What is the other movie that we're doing this week?
So last week we would have played one of our old episodes from when we were still. It's not that bad. It was Return of the Living Dead 5, Necropolis. 4, Necropolis. Which is one of my favorite bad zombie movies of all time. And little known facts, because why would you look up facts about that movie? But directly after they filmed that movie, they filmed another one, the sequel to Necropolis, called Return of the Living Dead 5, Rave to the Grave. and we finally watched it.
I am so glad that I watched this film. You have no idea.
I don't
Like,
know.
this is the final one in the Return to the Living Dead series, isn't it? So it just like it's such a great way to conclude it, and I think it's brilliant. But talking about the episode that we played last week, I suspect that you have no idea what episode it was or anything
No.
about it from the old podcast because it was so long ago.
So long ago.
Take a wild stab at a guess of what episode it was in terms of like numbering.
It would have been in October
Uh-huh.
15.
Wow. Okay.
Was it close?
7. No, 7.
We were babies. We were podcasting infants.
That would have been the 7th week that we would have done this. How crazy is that?
That's cute.
Less than 2 months of podcasting and we did that movie. Any idea what the other movie was that we did that week? I'll give you a clue. It is a horror movie as well, and it inspired me to suggest that we would wear this type of outfit if we ever did live shows.
Okay. The outfits that you've suggested when we do live shows, to me, include exclusively velour, like tracksuits.
Yes, you're on the right track. Excellent work. Good detective knowledge.
And it was a horror movie, yeah or no?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just tell me. Just tell me. I'm gonna be thrilled.
House of Wax.
Oh my God. That was a time.
Right? I know. How much fun was that? Oh my goodness. I'm so glad that we got to share it with our new audience. Like, that's so exciting.
Oh God, House of Wax. That was a
House
fun.
of Wax.
Terrible. Chad Michael Murray was in it.
Is it Jensen Ackles or the other one? I can't remember.
No, Jared Padalecki was in it.
Jared Padalecki. Yeah.
Medically, it made no sense.
Physics-wise, it made no sense.
I know our listeners will have
man.
just heard it the week before, but for us, like, guys, remember, we watched it a long time ago. I was living in a different apartment to the one I live in now.
Same. It's insane how long I was listening. Like, I had to check which episode it was, so I was like listening back to it, and like the audio quality, it is so echoey from my side. It sounds like I was recording in like a stadium without any human beings in it. It was insane.
That's so cute. Look at us.
I know, we've come a long way. We have a network now. We're getting paid. We've got advertising. It's nuts. A little bit, but hey, it's better than nothing.
Yeah.
It's better than not getting paid, which is pretty swell. Yeah. And talking of swell, what are you drinking this week?
I'm having a classic wine, I think, for myself. It is a red wine. It is the Namaqua Pinotage.
Ooh, yes, a fan favorite.
It is a bottom shelf wine.
Okay.
But surprisingly good and very cheap. I bought it because I was making pizza sauce last night for pizza. And I only really need a splash for the sauce, but, you know, the rest is there, so.
Killed 2 birds, 1 stone, so why not? Yeah.
What's your favorite pizza topping, Chad? Like, what, like, your go-to pizza that you will order or make?
Okay, so it's usually when I go out, it's usually like a Mexican pizza. So it'll be meatballs, peppers, a little bit of spiciness to it, a little bit of onion. But I love a good stuffed crust as well. And this country has the world's best garlic and herb sauces at their pizza joints. So it makes a huge difference, that sauce.
Yeah.
With the stuffed crust, oh, what a dream. How about you, Simone? It's going to be a vegetarian, obviously.
Obviously, it's vegetarian. And it depends. Like, so if I'm making it, like if I'm making the pizza from scratch, it's a blue cheese pizza. Blue cheese on pizza is the best topping. You'll never convince me otherwise. A good blue cheese.
What a winner. That's unbelievable.
But if I'm ordering pizza, there's a pizza delivery company here where like you can choose 3 toppings. They have a special.
Mm-hmm.
And then my favorite combination is I'll get a margarita pizza with basil pesto,
Mm-hmm.
jalapenos, spicy, and feta.
That sounds so magical. Oh, how
like,
lovely.
Flavorful and spicy and cheesy. And if I can, I'll get extra mozzarella as well to balance out the chili even more. And guys.
Oh, that does sound like a magical ingredient. Guys, like, take that down. That is like a good suggestion.
You can have that for free.
Oh, that's so lovely. Oh, what did I want to say to you? I wanted to ask you something about your pizza choices, and then it just like completely went. Oh, that's what it was. Do you remember when we used to make nacho pizzas?
Nacho pizza. Yes, you make chili,
was
vegetarian
such a
chili in
dream.
my case. You put that on the pizza dough, you put cheese on top, you put nachos on top, and you bake it, and you've got crispy nachos and chili and cheese and pizza underneath.
It's unbelievable. When I first went over to Simone's and she said, "Oh, we're making nacho pizzas," I was like, "You're a monster. This is where Icarus has flown too close to the sun." And then I had some, and I realized that she's actually a fucking genius.
Put some guac on there, put some sour cream on there, or plain yogurt if you don't want sour cream, if you want a healthier version. I always use plain yogurt on my nachos and related Mexican foods. Delightful.
Yeah, no, it surpasses excellence. It's unbelievable. So yes, no, thank you for bringing that into our lives, and hopefully we can bring that to our whole audience. They will appreciate the shit out of that. I mean, who wouldn't?
I have literally spent like basically every day since I was 20, not every day, but every year since I was 20, like honing my pizza making skills. And I make an amazing pizza now.
Maybe you should start like your own YouTube channel of just pizza cooking. I would watch that.
Pizza cooking is so controversial though. Like I'd start that and someone would be like, "Oh, that's not how I would make my dough. Oh, that's not how I would make my sauce." Like fuck off. It's like dough and sauce and cheese. Like it's gonna be delicious.
Exactly. It's a good combination no matter what. It's like I've always said, you've never had I'm starting to believe there's less and less as time goes by, but the same way as you never have bad sex, you never have bad pizza.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. The only time I had bad pizza was I was like, "Oh, I'm not going to get my usual pizza order." Rudy did this too, and it was a mistake. So I got blue cheese, but like from the cheap pizza place I ordered delivery pizza from.
Mistakes.
I mean, I ate it, but
I can't imagine it would be good. That's not the blue cheese as in like blue cheese that's been cultivated to be blue cheese. That's blue cheese that like they had some mature cheddar and it's just gone off. And it's in the back of the fridge. Yeah.
If you're gonna get blue cheese on a pizza, which obviously I always recommend, just make sure you're in control of the quality of that blue cheese.
Yeah. Amen. Another brilliant tip from Simone there on blue cheese. Well, Simone, now that we've done and we've spoken for about 6 minutes on pizza, which is what this podcast is now about, and I'm about that lifestyle. We're going to change it mid-season. I am going to go first because I am drinking a vodka Sprite.
Ooh.
So that comes in at a cool 37.5%, and I'm calling it the White Devil because it's just pure, clear liquid, and you don't know what's coming. Just
I love
like
a vodka Sprite.
It's delicious, right?
And you know, it's Sprite and it tastes vaguely alcoholic. It gets you where you're going. It's a very white girl drink.
Yeah, which is very on brand for me as well. But it's the perfect vehicle to just get alcohol into your system, like you said. It just delivers what you need. It's perfect. Yeah. Well, I didn't write a synopsis for this one because there is no plot. Let's be fair. So I'm just going to mention some names of some actors so that they get their due diligence. To be honest, I looked up on Rotten Tomatoes if I could find the score, and I could not. I searched, and the only film they have on is like 2011, so it was a no-go. So in this movie, you have Scott Ainsley, who plays Sergeant Jim McClough. You've got Toby Bowman, who plays Corporal Jez Nicholson, Victoria Summer, who plays Leanne, Juliette Foster, who plays Sharon Buckley, and Vicky Blades, who plays Vanessa. everyone else does not matter. Like, none of another person matters. Don't even worry about it. So in this movie, it is basically a found footage film of a zombie apocalypse. Basically, the zombie apocalypse breaks out, and the UK is hit specifically and particularly badly. The film opens with this normal family in some rural village, just enjoying their kid's sort of 8th birthday or whatever. They hear a noise outside, and hey, presto, it's zombies, and shit goes wrong. We cut to a base of a army thing, and it's like the Army Reserve men. So these aren't actual soldiers, they're just kind of guys who do it on the side. It's found footage, so it's a guy carrying a camera the whole time as they go through the UK trying to get to the shores, because apparently the one sergeant has received a message that says if they head to a specific point on the coastline, they can then board a ship to safety. So they have to do that in a space of 2 days, otherwise they're not going to get there in time and the ships will leave without them. They travel through this town, they meet evil bandits who are horrible, horrible people. They get shot at by people, they get eaten by zombies, and all types of shit happens and whatever. It leaves one guy left alive. He arrives at the shore, and he finds out that there are no ships there. He meets a lovely German couple who say that they were traveling from Germany to the UK because they were told that it was safe here in the UK. And so everyone realizes that it's a big lie, and they kind of just try and survive, and that's how the movie pretty much ends. We also find out that that general is also a little bit of a bad guy, because previously, as the outbreak started to happen, he was just shooting people because that's what the government told him to do. So it's fine, and that's the end.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really a tough one.
Yeah. What's your cliffhanger?
This is equally tough, but I'm going to go with the initial conversation and the opening of the movie between the family, because it is so filled with immediate contradictions, because, like, yeah, so it's literally just a case of, like, oh, don't go outside, there could be bad things, they told us to stay inside, I'm going to go outside now.
And leave the door
like,
wide open.
They're so dumb. It is unbelievable how dumb they are. Shocking thoughts, feelings.
Okay. I had a lot of feelings. Okay. I love a found footage film. Like,
Yes.
Cloverfield, fantastic. Blair Witch Project, fantastic. Love it. I think it's a very difficult medium to work with. And we recently did it. What was the German movie we did it for? Well, we did it for a German movie in our last podcast.
Oh, yes. The Haunting or something.
Yeah.
Fuck, what was it called? That's so irritating. Yeah. I know exactly which story. It was the German castle movie. Yeah. Fuck, that's so annoying. That was last October. That was last Halloween.
Yeah, it's
2018.
But we've done found footage films. We like a found footage film. It's a very specific medium. And I think this movie was like, oh, we'll do found footage because people like found footage, but didn't really embrace the medium. And we know this because they're showing us like 3 different plot lines. And you can't do that with found footage. You get one plot line. You get one specific point of view. And you have to work around, like, would someone actually film this? Would this be interesting for someone to film? You know, if an intense moment is happening, would someone actually stand and film this? Like, and no one thought about that. Like, they were just like, oh, yeah, this dude's still filming. But, like, realistically, no one would. And, like, the whole thing about found footage is, like, there are gaps in it because, you know, the character who's usually filming is busy doing something really intense or is, like, handling something. And that's what makes it amazing is, like with the Blair Witch Projects, like with Cloverfield. Like, you don't see the main creature for so long because the person's like, what the fuck? And they're turning the camera away. And that's amazing. It's so intense. And they didn't do that with Zombie Diaries. Like, the times that people were filming made no sense. The times that people were, like, going after the action made no sense. And it was very frustrating.
Yeah, no, you're so right. There were a couple scenes where I'm just like, you're a sergeant. Why aren't you firing a gun? Why are you just capturing this on film? That's insane. None of this makes sense. Yeah. I was incredibly irritated by that. Although, can I just maybe postulate something to you that would make you reasonably happy? This is how World War Z should have been done. Not
I
exactly
agree,
like this,
actually.
better, but yes, I feel like this is a good medium for World War Z.
World War Z would have been great as found footage. Like I've always said, I feel a lot of rage about World War Z. How dare you bring it up? I've always said World War Z should be a documentary style movie or miniseries with like interviews interspersed with found footage.
Found footage, yes.
That would be ideal.
Yes, absolutely. Netflix, come on. Disney
Come
Plus,
on.
come on. Even Peacock, fuck it. We'll
Amazon.
go NBC. Yeah, we will write this for you because it will be so good as a mini series. Holy shit, guys. Yes. But yeah, I think that was the main problem with it. It was just unbelievable from the beginning to the finish. It was just like, why would you be holding a camera like this? This is insane.
Yeah.
And there was no gravitas to it. To like, like you said, why would you be filming this? Like, why would you be filming this? This is so boring.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was just no drama to it, and it was just like you never felt anything for the character. Okay, that's a lie. I felt something for that one woman as she was murdered. But apart from that, I mean, that was a fucking intense scene. And
that was horrible.
Rave,
that was the only scene that I felt something, and the whole time I was like, oh, this didn't need to be done this way.
No, it was visceral and horrible. It was awful to watch.
Yeah.
Like, it just made you feel sick. And I mean, it should make you feel sick, but fuck, it was awful.
I don't know, because it also really drives home, like, man is the worst monster of them all. Because, like, you have the same gang of dudes, like, one of them's, like, raping a zombie at some point. It's gross. It's really yucky. Gross. And I know, like, zombies are dead, and, like, you don't have to, like, worry about them, but
even so, that shouldn't be an excuse. Like, just don't rape things. Fuck. Just don't do it.
For a movie that's like, oh, we're going to show you everything. It's not, like, there's no real message behind it. Like, there's no, like, I think movies really show their messaging through what they show and also what they don't show. And this movie was like, oh, we're gonna be explicit, we're gonna like be hardcore and edgy, and you're like, I actually don't want to see this. Like, if it had just been the camera trained on all the people chained up upstairs and you just heard screams like down below, like I think that would have been a lot more poignant than like what they did show. So I don't know, I think the director was maybe a little bit young and amateur, and like the producers were maybe like, oh, we want a gritty zombie movie. But it was gross.
Yeah, it also, like you said, like, not showing it on camera also leaves a lot more to the imagination, which quite often is worse for the individual.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why horror films do that. That's why they don't show the movie right until the end or whatever, the monster right till the end. Because whatever you're concocting in your mind is way scarier than whatever they show you. It's just a fact. That's how your brain works, and that's how you work, and there's like a lot of psychology behind it. And then they kind of just showed everything from like beginning to end, and it's meh at best. Like, yeah. Is there anything that you did particularly enjoy about it?
I always enjoy a bleak ending. I really, I like the concept of the idea that these guys are trying to get to this port so that they can catch a ship out before basically they nuke the whole of the UK. And then the dudes on the beach, excuse me, and they realize that like a bunch of people from Rotterdam, which is where they thought that they were evacuating to, are there on the beach, like, oh, hey, we heard the UK was safe, and you realize nowhere is safe. Like, that's the end of the world. Like, that was a really cool concept.
Yeah.
It wasn't done that well, though.
No, because it was really like quiet, and you didn't really like, you had to really think about it, like, and be like, wait, what are they saying? Oh, right, okay, shit. Fuck, everything's a mess. I really, going off of that as well, I really enjoyed the fact that that lady was pregnant. Just because, like, it really explores, like, oh my god, what do you do in sort of a zombie apocalypse? Like, you know, bringing the first life into this world after
Yeah.
after something so horrible, like what's gonna happen. Yeah, like I thought that was really, really interesting, and it's a really good concept as well. Yeah, I enjoyed the fact that the gunshot sounded more realistic
Yes.
than in most films. That was
Yeah.
pretty cool. I really enjoyed that. That it was like they made it seem a lot more realistic, which is perfect for found footage. That's
Yeah.
what you want. So yeah, it was yeah, there were a couple of good bits, but
Yeah.
and the acting was pretty decent too, to be
Yeah.
fair.
No, definitely. I mean, it's all these dudes who are in the Army Reserves. They're not soldiers. They're not,
Yeah.
super well trained. They know how to shoot a gun. They know basic, like, tactical maneuvers. And now their job is to get to the coast, and they just have to make that work. And I think the actors did an amazing job at that, actually.
Yeah.
And the gunfire was awkward. It wasn't like this, like, super cool, like, yeah, UK, we know how to train our armies. Like, it was like
Yeah.
dudes who kind of know how to shoot a gun, like, trying to get through it. Which I liked. I always appreciate something that's kind of realistic like that.
Exactly.
But they didn't embrace the
Yeah.
medium.
No, they really, really, really didn't. Which is such a shame because it could have been really cool. It could have been like World War Z. Yeah. I did enjoy that scene right at the end where the guy ends up on the coast and he's like stoking the fires and he's like freaking out because he's like, they should be here, and like they're not there.
Yeah,
and he's like, they
yeah,
need
that
to
was
see that the
intense.
fires are bigger. That was very cool. I enjoyed
Yeah.
that. That was awesome. So I mean, do you think there's anything that could have saved it? Is there any like specific scene that might have been able to save this?
I think, like I said, like when you're doing found footage, you have to lean into it. I appreciate that
Yeah.
there were like interspersed scenes where they're
Mhm.
showing that these dudes had to round up people and kill them, and that's why people didn't like the British Army. But it actually
Mhm.
wasn't that relevant to the plot.
No, it really wasn't.
And it was
kind
awkward.
of like a
It was
shocker.
weird. It was like, oh, you're trying to show me scenes, but like realistically, these scenes actually can't be interspersed in this footage.
And it was purely for shock value. So at the end
Yeah.
when you had the reveal, you were like,
Yeah.
oh my god, it's the
Yeah.
guys from
So-
the whole time. Yeah.
If they'd built it into dialogue better, or if they'd
Mm.
encountered a character better who'd been like, well, you guys are horrible people because like you basically committed genocide or whatever, like that would have been much more effective and a
Mhm.
much better use of the medium than like, oh, here are random scenes. And then at the very end, they just like fucking give up and show like a third person view of the dude walking down the beach.
Yeah, just completely like, okay, we're just gonna shut off this medium now and just do a normal film. for,
Yeah.
like, the
And it's
last
like,
10
well, then
minutes.
what's the fucking point?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, why am I
exactly.
here?
Exactly. It was the same problem because like I don't know if you've seen any of the REC films, REC.
I feel like it's something I've always
Spanish.
meant to click on, but I actually haven't.
It's very, very good.
Okay.
If you get the chance to watch them, like 1 and 2 are found footage, and it's all same thing, like zombie apocalypse.
Okay.
Excellent work. Number 3, halfway through, they switch to like a normal movie, and
Oh,
it's just
fuck
like,
off.
what's the point then? Don't add this very cool and interesting way of filming, and then
Yeah.
just go, nah, no more. We're just gonna leave it because we're too lazy.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
you have to lean into the medium. You have to accept that it has some like limitations in
Mhm.
terms of storytelling, and you have to work with those. You know, it was a great found footage film was Creep 1 and Creep 2.
Oh,
Guys.
oh,
Guys.
oh my God.
Creep
Creep
is
1 and 2.
outstanding.
Oh, I cannot get enough of those movies. So good. So good.
So
I'm
good.
still waiting for Creep 3 because like there are indications. Oh man, you can only hope. Flip.
Yeah.
Now that is a good film.
That's good found
Excellent
footage.
work.
And it
Yeah.
works with the medium. It works with the fact that the narrator can't really say a lot. It works with the fact that like you can't see everything. You can't understand everything. You just have to go with the context clues. Like, and that makes it really fun.
Yeah, exactly. Do you think that's why the sequel to Blair Witch Project didn't do as well because it wasn't found footage, and like that's why people loved Blair Witch?
Maybe. Because Blair Witch, like, if you'd had it third person, it wouldn't have done well at all.
No, that would have been a really average film. Yeah.
I have a lot of theories about Blair Witch, and I'm not going to get to it here.
That's for your spin-off podcast, the Blair Witching Hour with Simone and Rave.
The Blair Witch Project.
I like it. It's like High School Musical, the musical.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, I've got no scene that could have saved it. Just like you said, lean in, because this movie was just like,
use the medium better.
it was just lazy. It just felt lazy the whole way. Yeah.
And like I said, I really
yeah.
appreciate the concept of like in a zombie apocalypse, like humans are actually still the most dangerous thing that you can encounter compared to zombies. Like I think a lot of zombie movies cover that though, so it's not exactly a unique idea.
That's why
and maybe we don't need a rape to illustrate that, but that's just me.
I kind of, maybe I'm just being naive here, but I don't feel like as soon as the zombie apocalypse breaks out, or any apocalypse breaks out, there's going to be guys out there being like, yes, it's rape time. Let's go.
Exactly. Well,
Like,
it's rape o'clock.
yeah, the world is ending. Better go force myself on women. Like, that's not just like a thing. Like, most men aren't just like standing around being like, I would rape, but only if everything was complete anarchy.
Yeah.
Like, maybe we're being naive, but I feel like that's the thing.
But I think most of the people who are likely to survive in a zombie apocalypse, and this may be me being controversial, are going to be the dudes who are like, women, you know, have something to offer to a team. They're not vaginas.
Yeah, exactly.
And the sooner we embrace the women on our team and let them help us and support them, you know, the more likely we are to survive. But that's just my 2 cents.
I don't know. You audience listeners, you tell us. Are we incredibly naive and we're just like thinking, you know, please write into us if you're one of those guys who would be like, yes, I would actually, because then we will call the police on you. That is the thing we will definitely do.
The moment a zombie apocalypse breaks out, I am going to go to town.
It's one of the jokes that I always remember from Family Guy. Is like, it's like a scene in the beginning where it's just like they're in a college and the professor's like, look to your left, look to your right, look to your left, look to your right. One of these two men will rape you. And the woman turns to her left and she goes, and the guy goes, I won't. And then she looks to the right and the right guy goes, I might. I feel like it's kind of the same horrible concept here.
It's horrible because being a woman is the worst.
It can't be easy. Jesus Christ, it must be terrifying. It must be genuinely terrifying to even walk out your door. I don't know how you do it on a day-to-day basis.
I take Krav Maga.
Yeah, and have a gun license.
Christ, guys.
How is this the society we're living in? How is this a thing? Unbelievable. Anyway, would you watch this again?
No.
Absolutely not. Not a chance.
I love zombie movies. I really love a good zombie movie. I love the whole concept of it. I love a dystopian society. I will watch all the Resident Evil movies. This just didn't tick any of the boxes. It wasn't like, oh, you know, the folly of man. It wasn't like, oh, cool fighting. It wasn't a reflection on society. It was nothing. It was just like, oh, maybe men are the worst. And I'm like, I already know.
Yeah, we all know that. And like, even the zombies weren't cool. They were kind of just there.
Yeah, they're not like that scary. They walk so slowly and they're like, oh, I'm being overpowered. It's like they are walking at 1 kilometer an hour, my guy.
Yeah, and like, you don't even see any cool deaths. Like, at least in Rave to the Grave, which we will discuss in mere moments, like, there were some badass deaths. Like, there was nothing in this.
I agree completely.
Yeah. So, look, we've put this one to bed. We've closed the Zombie Diaries, and we can just leave it where it's supposed to be.
Goodbye.
In the annals of history. Thank you very much, Zombie Diaries. All right, now, Simone, the moment we've all been waiting for. Return of the Living Dead, Rave to the Grave. No tomato meter, audience score of 17%. Unbelievable.
Chad, I never thought I'd say the words Necropolis was a better movie.
Ooh.
But here I am. But isn't it?
Is it? I don't know. Discuss. We will discuss, but first,
I also didn't write a synopsis because to say that there's a plot is really
it's generous.
Specific. Okay, guys, Rave to the Grave, as you know, is a direct sequel to Return of the Living Dead for Necropolis. We meet characters that we remember, like Uncle Charles, played by Peter Coyote. Coyote.
Yep.
He is a scientist that worked in the top secret American lab government organization that accidentally created the zombie virus in Necropolis. He has not learned his lesson. He's still trying to sell off a bunch of this chemical to gangs. This is a Russian gang, I believe, that he's trying to sell it to. Does not work in his favor. He dies horribly. Cody, who survived the first movie, played by Corey Hardrict, is in college now. He's got a beautiful girlfriend, Becky, played by Amy Lynn Chadwick, who is gonna have sex with him at some point, maybe. He goes to clean out his uncle's house. He realizes that his uncle has moved one of the huge barrels of chemical waste that makes zombies. And he's like, oh, I wonder what happened there. But he doesn't really think about it too much. He finds the other 2 barrels. He and all of his friends, including, Cody, played by Corey Hardrict, is a science friend. The guy I'm talking about is Julian Garrison, played by John Keith. And his also friend Jenny, played by also Jenny Mullen. All of them decide, you know what, the best thing that we can do with these chemicals is make rave drugs, because Becky's brother, who organizes raves on the regular, decides to try it. And he has a great trip. So they make a bunch of drugs. They start selling them out. It does not work out well, because these drugs, it turns out, make zombies. But they don't realize that straight away. So they try to organize a huge rave. The rave does not go well because there are a bunch of zombies. There are 2 Russian gangster guys, including Gino, played by Soren Kokis, and Arnie, played by George Dumitrescu. I'm just guessing the names based off the IMDb cast list. These 2 Russian gangsters are busy trying to help them neutralize the problem and shoot a bunch of zombie people. The zombies run through campus. They run through the rave. People die. They have to shoot other people. Becky and Julian survive. Cody, I think, survives. It's very hard and very emotional. There's a whole rave with zombies and people being shot. The end.
It's what is your cliffhanger? There are so many, but I need to know which one. There are so many things.
I think it's gotta be this one, which is the scene where Becky's brother decides that he's gonna just try it on his own.
Right.
And doesn't feel any side effects.
Like, this movie perfectly sort of explains teenage sort of exploration at university, and just the fact that you do so many dumb things. And let's be honest, like, if this drug Z had come out at our university, we would have had zombies, because that's what universities are about.
Yeah, like, we wouldn't have personally tried it because we were huge nerds.
Yeah.
But we would have gotten bit for sure.
Oh, do you reckon? Yeah, I don't know if we've asked this question, because we've been doing zombies for a while now. And do you think you would survive an apocalypse?
I need to get through the initial wave, you know? Like, I'm really worried that my friends would be, like, acting weird, and I'd be that dumb bitch, like, oh, what's wrong? Can I help you? Like, come sit down. And then I get bit.
Right.
So if I survive that initial wave, I feel like I'd get through it. Like, I'd be like, okay, this is the situation. Like, someone's explained it to me. They're not my friends anymore, or whatever. But otherwise, no, I'd die straight up.
You see, I've always like tried to think of myself as someone who would survive by hiding. I'm very much the turtle type of person, just like sink into your own shell, make sure you're safe, kind of thing. So like, at this house that I'm currently living in, there is an attic, and I would attic. I hate that word. Yeah. I would just hide up in there. I would just take like a shit ton of like canned foods, and I would just hide up in there for like the longest time, until like things have calmed down and everything, and there's only like 15 people left on the planet. And then I would come down, and I wouldn't try and find people. I don't know what this incessant need is to find other people, but that is something I would not do. I would just chill. There is so much like TV that I need to catch up on that the end of the world would be perfect for.
I would really only come out for snacks.
Yeah, genuinely. Yeah, 100%. Like, I don't need other people. Like, we're fine. Like, clearly this is the end of the human race, so that's cool. Why do I need to find another person?
Yeah.
Just me, books, and my laptop, and I'm perfectly happy. Goal. Yeah. Yeah. So that's the only way I think I would survive, if I had a good hiding place.
Yeah. That's fair. That's, I think, a very accurate. I feel like we're both being very fair on ourselves. Like, we're not like,
Yeah.
oh, I'd go to the nearest gun store and I'd buy a gun and I'd kick ass.
Yeah, no, I'm not out there like kicking ass. Are you mad? That's how you
But I
get
feel
killed.
like if I encountered a group of rebels, they'd keep me because I know how to use a gun and I know really good basic first aid.
Oh yeah, you're scrappy as hell. I would.
Yeah, I'm scrappy.
I would
I'm
definitely
small,
keep you
but
on
I'm
the team.
angry.
Yeah, and you make tiny little fists of anger. Look at those. Look at those. Yeah, you would be a good asset on a team, I reckon. Yeah, yeah.
Also, because, this is what I've been training for my whole life, what the men I'm attracted to is the broody, angry dude would fall in love with me so fast.
Yeah, grizzled. He's definitely wearing a cowboy hat.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh, he's got like a buzz cut and a broken nose. Like, oh, I'd be in there so quick.
You would be his concubine without question.
You do what you gotta do to get through the zombie apocalypse, and if I've gotta like bang a really broody, angry, muscly dude, like, okay, I'll get through it.
From a harem. Oh well, what can you do?
Oh no, I've gotta have sex with the dude I'm very attracted to. That's problematic. Oh no.
Oh, what are we gonna do? I loved this movie way more than Necropolis, and I'll give you 3 reasons why.
Tell
I'll
me.
give you 3 reasons. The Russian guys were funny as shit.
They're perfect. Yeah.
They're amazing, except for that problematic scene where they steal the costumes off of those 2 questionably young girls. That was problematic. But apart from that, excellent. The fact that weird super zombie was hitching a ride, that's fucking brilliant. And thirdly,
It's funny.
but not it's brilliant. It's comedy gold. And thirdly, but not leastly, the guy actually says the words "rave to the grave," and that's all I need in a movie.
Several times.
Yeah, exactly. So perfect movie. Now your arguments. Why is Necropolis better than this?
Necropolis. Okay, first of all, I feel like Rave to the Grave has a very slasher formula where you feel like all the people in it kind of deserve to die because they're kind of dumb, right? They're like, oh, we'll make drugs out of this and give that to everyone. Like, what could go wrong? And you're like, so many things could go wrong. And then they're like, let's slasher material. You're like, okay, these are all dumb teams. They deserve to die. In Necropolis, like, it's just their friend gets taken away by the ambulance and doesn't show up at the hospital, and they're like, oh my god, we've got to rescue our friend, and they do a weird montage where they like come up with gadgets to save their friend, and they're so shit.
I forgot about that so badly.
But they just want to save their friend, and that's why they're in the lab, and that's why, the whole thing happens. Necropolis also just has better lines. There's just gold. It's the security guard telling the hot girl that she has a nice pooper.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah, I forgot about that line as well.
Oh, Becky, do you know what I want to do to you? I want to eat your fucking brains. Excellent line. There's the main dude, Julian, finding out that his parents are both like super robot zombies. He's like,
super robot zombies, yeah.
Dad, no! That's amazing. Like, the whole movie is just this weird buildup of crazy lines and like batshit crazy situations that is so fun. This movie is just like, oh, now the zombie virus is spreading. It's like hit up a girl and her boyfriend who are parked in a car, and the drug dealer, and now they're at a rave, and the zombies are killing people, but people are still like, fuck off.
I will give you that a lot of it was just scenes that they threw together that were like reasonably comedic, like that bit where the zombie girl gives her boyfriend a blowjob and then bites off his penis. That was purely like irrelevant to the overall story, but it was purely for the jokes. And the same with the vegans, like the vegan hippies, and it was like, oh, don't eat meat, and then they get turned into zombies. And like, yeah, okay, a lot of it was just sort of let's throw in scenes and create a movie, I guess, where Necropolis was beautiful in the fact that his parents were robot zombies. The fact that he's got no PTSD coming back into
he has
it,
learned nothing from the first movie.
Unbelievable work. Also, another thing that this may be just personal to myself of why I loved Rave to the Grave more, but I think you said her name was Becky, Julian's girlfriend, the super sexy scientist girl. A woman in those dancer trousers that no one wears anymore. Oh,
The
man.
little cargo pants?
Yeah, no one
Chad,
wears
you're
them
gonna be
anymore.
thrilled to hear that cargo pants are back in now.
It's like Christmas has come early. I love those trousers so much.
I love a good cargo pant. Yeah.
Oh man, it's just like the waistline, the bagginess. Yes,
It's
so
very
sexy.
Tomb Raider.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. That's my vibe. Yeah.
You like a girl who
So
can
love-
hold a lot of snacks.
Exactly. It's snacks and women. That's all I need in my life.
In that order,
In that-
ladies.
Yeah, like that horrible song during the montage of this movie when it was like, I like my woman like I like my drugs, first in a small package or something like that. I was like,
yes,
oh,
I
good
forgot
lord.
that song happened. There was a lot of ska in this movie.
Yes.
And it really reminded me why ska has not grown as a genre.
No, it's awful. It's awful music for garbage people. Also, these raves are really random. They're not really raves, are they? They're more just
No,
like
the
parties.
first rave was a house party where girls showed their
Yeah.
tits.
Yeah, exactly. And the second one was a bit more electro dance, but not really.
They had graffiti on the stage background, Chad. I think you'll find that's basically a full rave.
To be fair, I loved the planning montage where they were setting up for the rave. That may have been my favorite thing of all time because it was like home decor. Just it was beautiful.
I mean, it was better than the montage in Necropolis where they're like getting ready to break into the lab and they like
Yeah.
put together a bunch of gadgets that they never use.
Yeah. Oh, these movies are so good. I haven't seen
love
any of the rest. Have you seen any of the other ones?
No, I haven't. Why would I need to?
Nice. Well, we're gonna watch them, I'm sure, for this podcast. We'll eventually get through all of the Return of the Living Deads. But yeah. What else did you enjoy about this movie? Is there anything that you could specifically point out about this movie that you enjoyed?
I mean, look, I always love a good science doing scene.
Yes, of course.
The microscope that is a child's microscope and would not reveal anything to you if you were trying to do real science. To the dude, never name the experiment rats. You shouldn't. And also, because if you're doing a study, then you get allocated a certain amount of animals to do that study on. Like, it's not like the lab just has animals and then you're like, oh, I'll just use you for this. Like, whatever. Like, it's very ethics. Testing on animals is horrible. Testing on rats is horrible. But at the moment, that's how we test drugs and that's how we cure diseases for humans. And like, I know it's controversial. I know that it's upsetting, but that's just how the world is today. But what happens with ethics approval? I'm going on a tangent a little bit.
I like it. I love it.
Basically, when you apply for ethics and when you're like, hey, I want to test this on rats, there's a very stringent process whereby you have to show that you're doing as little trauma to the rats as possible. Like, they're in as little pain as possible. You're anesthetizing them wherever you can. You're making sure they're comfortable and fed and happy where you can. And you're only doing to them exactly what is outlined in the study. Like, it's not like you just have spare rats lying around and you're like, oh, let me just like put this in their drinking water. Like, that's not how the world works, guys.
No.
So yeah, and it's also best not to name your rats. You'll get very attached to them. It's very sad. On
Even if they
UCT,
call this the stinky.
UCT Medical Campus, where a lot of people experiment on rats, there's actually a support group for people who do that because it's very hard. It's really shit to experiment on rats. These rats are bred to be very docile and sweet, so it's hard to do things to them. But these are people who are trying to cure like heart disease and cancer and malaria and all kinds of stuff, guys. So that's the reality of it. Like, no one likes experimenting on rats.
At least there's like support groups. I didn't know that. That's brilliant.
Yeah, it's the rat club.
Oh,
Because the thing is, like, as the experimenter, you have to feed them personally yourself every day. And because you're feeding them, the rats are like excited to see you every day, and they recognize your footsteps and they recognize your smell, and they're like happy to see you. Like, and then you have to cut their hearts out or whatever.
That's so harsh.
horrible. I'm very
Oh,
happy, like, I never had to do any tests on rats. I did tests on insects and I already felt horrible.
yeah, yeah. Oh wow. Okay. Well, I mean, you made me sad in the fact that like they recognize you and stuff, but you made me really
Mhm.
happy to know that there's like a support group so that
Yeah,
people do recognize that this is a horrible way of doing
yeah.
things.
No one wants to do it. The
And there's so
moment we find
much.
a more efficient way of doing it, like, we'll do that, guys.
Yeah.
Like, no one likes doing experiments on rats.
Yeah, and
They're
like
really
the
intelligent.
like you've said, like the ethics behind it is like
Yeah.
incredibly stringent. It's not just like here's a rat, do whatever the hell you want on it.
Yeah.
It's
No.
literally like so much paperwork and stuff. So that's good at least. Okay, well, do you have a scene that could have saved this
Very serious.
spectac What?
It's just got very serious very quickly.
Oh
Like,
yeah, yeah. I mean that's what we do because let's be
Yeah.
fair, these two movies are very non-existent. They're just
Yeah.
very vapid. So we have to fill a podcast with something. So now we're doing ethics and other stuff, I guess.
experimentation on animals.
Yeah, yeah. So is there a scene that could have saved this for you?
No.
Yeah. I don't think it needed saving. To be honest with you, I think this is a great film.
It
It's
is
just
what it
super
is.
fun. It's the fact that more than anything, it's the super zombie with his sign that says Rave or Bust. I need nothing else. I just
No.
want to know his story.
What's he up to? What's he doing in the next couple months? Let's find out.
I'm sure he's going to a rave for some reason. Like, that's what he wants
He's
to
already
do.
in the grave. He might as well rave.
Exactly. It's not just rave to the grave, it's raving after the grave. There's just a non-stop rave spectrum.
Words
Just
to live
free-
by, Chad.
The pre and post rave grave rave.
We're
You-
all gonna end up in a grave, you guys. How are you raving?
Ooh. Welcome to our new church, everyone. This is us. So, I guess, would you watch this again?
No, I'd rather watch Necropolis again.
No ways. I would watch the crap out of this again. It's just so funny.
No, Necropolis is better. I never thought I'd say that sentence. But Necropolis is wildly much more entertaining in a bad movie kind of way.
Yeah, that is true. Look, it is widely entertaining for so many reasons. It's like the really slutty girl who actually has like a crazy IQ as well. That was just super funny. Yeah. I think there was a lot more thought that went into Necropolis than there was Rave to the Grave. But I still really enjoyed it, and I would watch the
There
shit
were a
out
lot
of
of
it.
tips and waves to the grave if you like really great boobs. Chad can't say that because he's a gentleman, but I, as a woman, can say like there were some great boobs in Rave to the Grave, and if you like that, you can check that out. Or just like Google like everybody else.
Yeah, I mean, guys, rule number one of the internet: if it's on the internet, there's a porn version. Like
Yeah.
these are facts.
There are
So-
great boobs everywhere, guys.
We've come up with so many good T-shirts for this episode.
They're great
There are
boobs
just great boobs everywhere. And just but it's initialed first, so it's just GBE, and then underneath it says great boobs everywhere.
I don't feel bad about it.
I think it's a great message.
Guys,
It's
if you date a
an
human
encouraging
woman,
message about product.
Whatever gender you are, and you date a human woman or someone who has boobs, and you fall in love with her, like her boobs will be the best boobs to you.
Exactly. It's a truth fact, and yeah, there's not much more you can say about this. Like I was explaining to Samantha, but it was about butts because I'm more of a butt man than I am a boob man. Don't get me wrong, love boobs, but definitely more of a butt guy. And I said
Sure.
this to Samantha the other day. I said, one of the greatest things I ever learned was love is saying, I love your butt. I understand that there are other great butts out there, but yours is the butt that I want to
Yeah.
have. And that's true.
It's like Full Metal Jacket, where it's like, this is my rifle. There are many like it, but this one is mine.
Yeah. This is my butt. There are many other butts like it, but this is the butt I get to play bongos on and bite sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. This is the butt that I get to touch with consent.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Simone. I appreciate that. Namaste. Thank you for all the wonderful Return of the Living Dead that we've done under your recommendations. You really do find the weirdest zombie films.
I
I
find
don't know
the
what
worst.
you do in your spare time, but I fucking love it. Oh, Simone, so what are we gonna do next week?
I've got an idea, Chad.
Thank God, because I have nothing.
This is an episode we've been meaning to do for a while, which is back to superhero movies.
Oh, cool.
We're
Excellent.
gonna do Green Lantern.
Oh, no. I was so excited and then you ruined it.
I'm gonna show you, like, let me check the score that it got. It doesn't matter if it's over 50, really. Oh, never mind, it got 26% on the tomato meter.
Whew. That is not great.
Okay, so we'll do Green Lantern, and then I just want to check. I don't think that's right. Sorry, hang on, let me check. I was looking at the wrong movie, just hang on. Oh, good. Venom with Tom Hardy.
What? Oh, Venom. Oh, excellent.
Yeah, so Green Lantern and Venom. Like, I feel like I can back both of these movies. Like, I really liked Venom, actually.
I really did too, and I'm willing to fight in Ryan Reynolds' corner, I guess.
So I feel like this is gonna be one of those ones where it's like, I would watch this again. This is amazing.
Yeah, fair enough. Which one would you prefer to do?
I want to do Venom. I'm ready.
Okay.
My body's ready.
Okay, I'm happy
I'll
to do
back
Green
Tom
Lantern.
Hardy to the grave.
I mean, you would, whether he did Venom or not, whether he played like Hitler or not.
I'll
you
rave to
would
the grave
back
for him.
I'm very excited. So this is Superheroes 2, Electric Boogaloo. Very
Superhero
exciting.
week again. We've been doing this podcast for a long time. It's crazy we haven't done superheroes again sooner.
To be fair, I think Superheroes was our first episode of this new podcast.
I think it might be our most well-performing episode, too.
Yeah. So here we go again.
We go again. Do you want
Round
to
2. Excellent.
lead me in?
Oh, I think that's just fine, to be honest with you. I
Okay,
think the way we did it, I can cut
Let's
it
do it.
together. So that's
Perfect.
perfect. Right, so what is your optimistic thing for this week?
God, this week, Chad, has been a week.
You've had a tough week, Simone.
I have had a week.
I don't blame you.
I've been sorting out visas. I'm traveling for work. I'm tired. But, guys, I'm excited to travel. I'm going to Kenya. I'm going to Mozambique for work. I get to eat delicious food. I love Ethiopian food. Kenya shares a border with Ethiopia. I'm going to eat delicious Ethiopian food. I'm going to eat delicious Kenyan food. Apparently, they have a fish dish that is fantastic. I'm going to be in Mozambique. I'm going to have everything peri-peri, and I'm going to have rum. And I'm excited.
Mozambique is so beautiful. I love
I'm
that.
excited,
I've been there twice, and it is
The
such a great country.
hotel I'm staying in is like close to the waterfront.
Mm.
So I get to just stroll down and like look at the ocean and be in the moment.
Oh, you're gonna have the best time. I'm very jealous. Very, very
I'm
jealous.
super stoked.
That's so good. That's so amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, good on you. Good on you.
Thanks. What is your optimistic thing?
So I have two this week, and as I've said that, one is just completely floated out my brain, as it is wont to do apparently. So I'm just gonna go for the one, which is the fact that Harvey Weinstein was found guilty this week.
Yes, bitch.
I know this episode is coming out in like 2 weeks time.
Yeah.
But fucking yes.
Yes.
Excellent. Finally, a bit of justice, because I did not think, because he's a rich white dude, I did not think it was going to go the way it did,
No.
and motherfucker got convicted.
Fuck that guy.
Fuck that guy, and I'm
I
so
hope
happy
he never
about it.
sees the fucking light of day again.
Yes. Amazing time. What a time to be alive. Fucking yes.
Yes.
Brilliant. Yes.
Him walking into court with a fucking walker, acting like a frail old man. Fuck you, dude. No one buys it.
Yeah, that was purely for to try and get people on his side to like see like the frail old man. Oh, very irritating.
We got Bill Cosby. We got Epstein. We got Weinstein. Fuck you guys. We're coming after you next.
Yes.
Whoever you are.
And there are many. as Zombie Diaries has shown us, all men are disgusting. So you know what? Watch your backs, assholes. You know what? Just treat some women with fucking civility, you douches. fuck me. And I know
It's really
we're not
easy.
talking.
Just don't rape women.
Yeah, just don't do it. And I know none of our podcast listeners would feel that way. And I'm like, well, actually, no.
Yeah.
I know you guys are the good guys because you wouldn't be listening to this podcast if you weren't. But if there are any of you guys who do listen to this podcast, we are coming for you.
Yes.
Yes.
Enough is enough.
Yes. What an amazingly powerful way to end this episode. We'll leave it there. Simone, amazing. Where can the people find us? Where can they write to us? Where can they tell us all the great things?
They can talk to us on Facebook or Instagram at Fresh Tomatoes Podcast. They can talk to us on Twitter at Fresh Tomatoes MP. They can hang out with us and watch full unedited versions of our podcast recordings on YouTube if they look up Fresh Tomatoes Movie Podcast. They can hang out with us on the Discord of Robots Radio. It's really fun, guys. We talk about all kinds of stuff. I share pictures of my cats. People share pictures of their cats. It's amazing.
It is a wonderful, wonderful community that we have over there. And it's been great. We've literally just spent like the last couple of days speaking about video games that were turned into terrible, terrible movies. So if any of that kind of thing interests you, holla. And as we say at the end of every episode, we love you and there's nothing you can do about it.
We love you and there's nothing you can do about it.
Goodbye.
Bye.